Henri Labrouste, 1801–1875, was a French architect celebrated for his innovative and rational approach to design. In 1819, he entered the École des Beaux-Arts in Paris, training in classical architecture, and was awarded the Prix de Rome and the Great Medal of Emulation for his grand architectural works. From 1825 to 1830, he studied in Rome, closely examining ancient monuments. In reports to the Academy, he noted that many structures contradicted the theories he had been taught, shaping his critical and rational perspective on architecture. In Rome, Labrouste experimented with new stylistic approaches that often clashed with academic conventions. He meticulously documented architectural devices, making the underlying structure of construction clear in his renderings. His thinking was deeply influenced by Jean-Nicolas Louis Durand, whose rationalist ideas encouraged him to read ruins as lessons in functionality, materiality, and structural logic. Combined with Victor Hugo's concern over the death of architecture, Labrouste developed a style that balanced function, meaning, and structure. Monuments like the Temple of Neptune at Paestum, with its powerful Doric columns, left a lasting impression and informed his later work. In his submissions from Rome, Labrouste demonstrated not only a profound knowledge of ancient art and history but also a commitment to subordinating invention to functional requirements. Details were never merely decorative, they reinforced the rhythm, meaning, and clarity of the principal forms, making structure itself an expressive element. Henri Labrouste was one of the most influential precursors of modern architecture in the 19th century. He redefined the meaning of architecture. For him, form was dictated by purpose, not by ornament or style. As a structural rationalist, he broke from neoclassicism's rigid ideals and advanced a materially expressive, function-driven architecture that balanced both precision and liberty. At the core of his philosophy was the belief that structure and form are inseparable. Ornament had to emerge from and explain the structure, never conceal it. Architecture, in his view, was about clarity, logic, and usefulness, but also carried a poetic sense of space. This way of thinking anticipated modernism's dictum, form follows function. Labrouste's design approach emphasized functional clarity, structural expression, and material innovation. His most famous works, the Bibliothèque Sainte-Geneviève and the Reading Room of the Bibliothèque Nationale, revealed this vision. Here, cast iron, glass, and gas lighting were not hidden but celebrated, creating open, transparent spaces for knowledge and public life. Through these works, Labrouste shifted architecture from stone-bound monumentality to light-filled, democratic environments. His legacy lies in showing that architecture could be both rational and tectonic, a foundation for the modern age. In 19th-century Europe, new building types like libraries, museums, and train stations demanded fresh architectural solutions. Neoclassicism still dominated but struggled to meet these needs, and Henri Labrouste offered a radical response. He reinterpreted classical heritage not as style, but as structural logic. Unlike Romantic classicists, who emphasized symbolism, Labrouste prioritized clarity, rational planning, and material honesty. By embracing industrial materials such as cast iron and glass, he moved architecture away from empty ornament toward what critics called the true culture of structural integrity. Amid industrialization and social upheaval, architects began questioning conservative styles, guided by Enlightenment rationalism. Labrouste not only met the demands of modern institutions but redefined architecture itself, laying the groundwork for the functionalist ideals of modernism. Labrouste's innovative use of new technologies, such as cast iron and gas lighting, established a strong link between ornament and construction that later influenced rationalists, Art Nouveau, and modernist architects. Admired by both modernists and postmodernists, his work was celebrated in Siegfried Giedon's essays, MoMA's 1975 exhibition, Pierre Sadi's 1976 catalogue, and Neil Levine's studies in the late 1970s. Though not widely sustained in scholarship, Labrouste earned critical acclaim from Viollet-le-Duc, who praised his spirit of examination and observation as the basis of modern scientific study, an influence that reached American architects from McKim, Mead and White to Frank Lloyd Wright. Bibliothèque Nationale's main reading room and book stack, Salle Ovale, designed by Henri Labrouste, is a key example of his design approach, that form must follow function and that decoration must derive from the construction itself. The volume of the space is defined by 9 domes, each with a center circular skylights and ceramic tiles covering, designed to flood the interior with natural light and create an open, airy environment ideal for learning. The structure is displayed rather than concealed, with the 16 cast iron columns carrying the domes, deriving the ornament from the skeletal structure itself. Their ionic forms demonstrate Labrouste's tectonic architecture approach, meshing the new technologies and materials but following the classical ideologies of ornament to make sure the building represents power, knowledge and authority, importance. The exposed iron roof trusses and multi-story book stacks similarly express the new capabilities of industrial materials.